Hi everyone, it's Roger and James here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the new Disney villain show that is apparently set to come to Disney Plus. We'll be talking about maybe Sandlot series coming to Disney Plus, and we'll be talking about some of the National Geographic stuff that got announced. I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on that Free Solo movie, which aired this past week. And yeah, just jumping also into a little bit about the new Mutants rumors been floating around. So let's jump into the big news. Really was the Disney Villains show that is apparently based on the Book of Enchantment series that has been at about 5 books. There's a 6th one coming. It's all like based on the villains and telling their story. So there was a book on like Snow White's evil queen. You had Maleficent. You had Beast. You had Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and I don't think what the other one was now. It was Mother Gothel from Rapunzel. So this is, they apparently want to turn those books into a series for Disney Plus. They are filming in Ireland later this year. They're looking for locations in the UK, and production is supposed to start in 2020. So we might not see it till late 2020, early 21. This news really caught fire. A lot of people were really excited about this one. I think anything, just Disney villains. It's being put together by the team that put together Once Upon a Time. So as a whole, it was like, yeah, this one really caught people's attentions.
And I think it has to do with the fact that a lot of the Disney villains are often more interesting than the heroes of the stories, particularly the older ones, Maleficent and the Wicked Witch and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm not too surprised to see it picking up in popularity. And this isn't even the first or second or third or fourth villain-focused theme TV show or movie that Disney has done in the last few years. Obviously, there's The Descendants, which has been very popular, but that's about the kids. We had the Maleficent movie. We had Into the Woods. So there has been a push rather frequently, actually, at Disney for the villains to kind of get their own story. And this is just the latest one. But having said that, that's not to dismiss it. That's it's just got a legacy to live up to.
The only good thing as well, because they're based on books as well, and there's going to be 6 books by the end of the year. There's obviously been a lot of that. They've put the effort in terms of they've got the story. I mean, I'd argue that there's maybe enough there for, a book can usually be turned into a series or a movie of its own. So I would love to see them maybe do 1 episode or a couple of episodes each for each character, rather than intertwining them all, because you got to think the book, they're all individual. But yeah, it's just like great to see something. And again, there's this continuous trend of like stuff coming down the line, and I think we are going to see a lot of this. And Disney villains, like you said, they are very popular. I mean, you think like Maleficent and the Evil Queen, they are much better characters than Sleeping Beauty. She just sleeps the whole episode. And and Snow White, who is just nearly, what is it? We're nearly 80 years, 90 years later. It's just very vanilla. If you put that out now, no one would be interested in this character at all. She's just very bland compared to, because she's from 1930s. It's for now, the Evil Queen is much more interesting, and people are much more interested in that kind of aspect of a character.
Well, that and Maleficent has basically become the de facto leader of the Disney villains, not just here, but I think The Descendants, her kid was like the main one. Obviously, Kingdom Hearts 3, she was the leader of the Disney villains.
Another book series, the Kingdom Keepers. Maleficent is kind of one of the top villains in that one as well, and which I really hope they turn that into a series. That would be a fantastic series to bring to Disney Plus as well on the site, and I wouldn't be surprised if that comes down the line either.
A series that takes place at the parks, I can't imagine why they wouldn't want to do that. So I haven't read the series. I just know the basic synopsis for it. But I mean, they've got a lot of things that they can draw on. Not just, they could merge the Kingdom Keepers into this show itself, actually. Kind of do it as an offshoot or as like a 2nd or 3rd season kind of deal. But yeah, this looks promising. The initial artwork, the initial promos for it look solid. It's got a decent premise. They've proven that they can do the villain stories pretty well, villains as protagonists. So there's plenty to look forward to here, and I think it'll be a good addition to the Disney Plus lineup.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that they're shooting it over in like UK and Ireland also very nicely ties into the fact that they need to create a certain amount of content in Europe in order to launch in Europe. They need like 30% of it. So filming, even if they film partial shows, it will all help towards getting that counter up. So that'll help. So we're probably going to see a lot of that, things of them filming stuff over here and over in Europe, etc., just to kind of help tie it up and stuff, though. So that's good. Flipping now over to another rumor. It's not even a rumor, really. It was the director of the Sandlot. He was on a podcast. I'll just bring up his name here. It was, the director is David Mickey Evans, which is kind of fun. Got Mickey in there, and he was on the Rain Delay podcast, and he said he sold a pitch for a television series sequel to the original movie The Sandlot, which would bring together all the original cast back, and that he added it has been picked up by a streaming service. Now, he didn't necessarily say which one. The fact that this is a 20th Century Fox movie it kind of slides towards Hulu, but then you think this is full family friendly. Apparently, 2 seasons have already been given the go ahead. This feels very much like a Disney Plus perfect fit, and we're expecting the Disney Fox merger to even complete this week, but it'll be completed this month. So yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we find out a bit more about it. But the fact that the director of the series has said about this is very, high end. Something's coming down the line.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if it ended up on either Hulu or Disney Plus. My one question would be: are they going to continue with the grave insult of you play baseball like a girl? Because in the modern climate, that line might not go over quite as well as it did in the original Sandlot.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I have never seen this. I'll be honest. I don't think I've even heard of this movie until this news came out.
It's a bit of a cult classic over here. So
yeah, baseball doesn't really work over here. We don't play it. We've got no connection with it. We play rounders. We don't play baseball.
So it's a cultural thing.
It was one of those things of I know I found that there's a couple of sequels and stuff. This was not a movie I grew up watching, and I was a kid at the time when these came out. I've got no connection to this at all. But when they're talking about having the actors back, they're going to be in their 30s, they're going to have kids. It's like this is just perfect sort of sitcom, cheap sitcom, because you've got to imagine that these actors, they haven't done a lot since the movie, so they're probably going to be reasonably cheap. And I can't think a baseball series is going to cost that much to make.
I mean, it depends. If you're just doing it in a Sandlot, then no, probably not. If they actually involve some of the full-on stadiums, then that can get expensive.
So what is a Sandlot? Because this is where I've never even seen a baseball game, so I've got like no idea.
Well, Sandlot isn't really, there's no technical definition, but it's just literally like any field that's big enough to house a baseball game, and you'll lay down the bases and just play a game. It's like playing soccer in the backyard. In a yard big enough, all you need are the 2 nets and a ball and enough people to play.
You just need 2 jumpers. That's all you need on the floor.
Two things to serve as a net. Because in a Sandlot baseball, you don't even need a proper base. You just need something to represent a base.
Yeah.
So it's just kids having fun doing summer things. And while that, and I can totally understand why it wouldn't be big in England for the same reason that a cricket movie wouldn't do that great in the States, but this is definitely a well-referenced movie in the States. Even today, you will see people walking down the street with T-shirts that say "You're killing me, Smalls." It's a famous line from the movie, or people who will yell out, "You play baseball like a girl," and that was the killer argument. They were getting in an insult fight, and that was the one that ended the fight, because it was like, whoa, you can't say that guy plays like a girl. That's the worst, most insulting baseball thing that a 1960s Sandlot player. Which is why I wonder if that's going to show up again, or if they're gonna throw it out there and then some girl is just going to kick the snot out of this boy or something like that, which it might be a little too self-preferential, but it wouldn't surprise me if something like
I mean,
that
this is going to be set in the 80s, this series, so it kind of gives them a bit more flex. Again, the thing is with this, like the purchase of 21st Century Fox, is it is giving them access to a large content of children's and family entertainment, like things like the Sandlot. You know, you got the Kid That Would Be King and Battle Angel, all this stuff. These are all good Disney Plus content as well. While the adult stuff on FX might be much more suited to Hulu, the fact he didn't say, he just said streaming service, they ain't going to be selling this to Netflix. The Disney and Fox are not into selling anything to anybody else. Fox have been like this for a while. They've been keeping everything in-house because I'm guessing they've been told to kind of, you know, keep everything in-house. But they've been pushing everything to Hulu. Disney are going to be grabbing stuff from the Fox backlog to put on Disney Plus. I fully expect them, you know, while you could be, oh, they'll put all the Fox stuff on Hulu, they're going to want to keep all the family-friendly stuff in that area. And things like these movies and these franchises just are perfect for this new streaming service.
Yeah, and not even just like the original versions, like they're doing with the Sandlot here, is, you know, you can take those and you can turn them into a long-form content, and many of those old ones will work just fine in that. So I think if this proves successful, if the Sandlot TV series, or however you want to think of it, since it'll be streaming, is successful, we could see a lot more 80s, 90s cult classic movies turning into streaming. I'm pulling this one out of the air, but it's often in the kind of the same area as Sandlot. We could see the Goonies show up as a streaming, because that, you know, sure, the movies are static, but the concept is open-ended. There's any number of stories that you can tell with that kind of character group.
Is Goonies Warner?
I don't honestly remember. I was just using it because Sandlot and Goonies kind of go together. They have the same kind of tone, style, you know, that harkening back to the simpler days of boys just being out and being boys and finding pirate ships in caves and stuff. I don't know.
Can't wait for 20 years time till they do this and it'll be the Fortnite movie. But
it's just going to be people doing the floss for an hour and a half, maybe shooting a gun every once in a while.
Yeah, I do remember this game. Yeah, so let's jump now on to our next topic, which was kind of a rumor that's been floating around regarding the New Mutants, which is a Marvel movie that was created by Fox. It's supposed to be coming out at the beginning of August. We originally saw a trailer back in 2017, and it got pushed back from a 2018 release. It then got pushed back again. It's been delayed twice. Apparently, the movie there was up to 50% of it they wanted to reshoot, but the director said that they've not done those reshoots and they're not currently scheduled to be done. This very much so. There's been lots of things going around. There's been lots of talk about it maybe being dumped onto Disney Plus or onto Hulu, and because basically once the Fox deal has gone through, will Disney actually want to release it? That Disney have said that they are planning on releasing everything that Fox had in production ready to go. I'm looking at this and just thinking, I saw this being brought up a lot with Disney Plus, and they do an article on it. My gut feeling is like this actually isn't a Disney. If you saw the trailer, it's scary. It's adult oriented. It's not necessarily R-rated. I was thinking, this isn't a Disney Plus movie. I personally was watched the trailer again and going, this is if you're going to dump it, they're going to dump it on Hulu, because this does not seem to. And it's August. That's no good either, because that might be before Disney Plus launches. I don't know. I got a feeling it might not even be released.
Based on the trailer, I kind of hope it doesn't get released. It looks pretty terrible. And if they haven't been doing reshoots, if they haven't been doing modifications to the movie, that sounds an awful lot like it's just kind of Fox and Disney going, it's far enough along that we can release it and get some of our money back, but we're not putting any more money into this. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I'll let you go. Yeah, it's just this kind of weird thing, really. I think of like that concept, like you said, of Fox maybe looking at this as a lame duck of going, there is no point putting any more money into this. Maybe even if Disney weren't buying them, they might have been like, no, this isn't clicking, this isn't working. You know, we had the Dark Phoenix trailer launch this past week, which kind of was a bit of an odd one. A lot of people seem to be putting this down as that is the end of the Fox Marvel universe. Deadpool's going to be carrying on, but he'll be doing his own thing and joining in with them all. But it's kind of the end of the Fox world, and there's almost like kind of everyone's like, yeah, that's fine. This is going to be the good way of ending it. Everyone's excited. The New Mutants everyone forgot about, and I'm just wondering if Marvel might be looking at it and it's just not worth confusing it. They don't want to use the characters. I'm looking at it going, yeah, dump it onto Hulu might be fine, but would Disney even want something that's bad or not very good, tarnishing the Marvel name rather than just throw it away?
Yeah, well, it depends on if it's Marvel's decision or not, because Fox might want to throw it out there just to get some of their money back, because they don't care if the New Mutants license or the X-Men license is tarnished at all. It's not going to be their problem soon.
But if the deal is supposed to be could even be done by the 8th of March. It will be. You know, we're talking April or we're talking August release for cinema. We've not seen a thing on this movie since that original trailer in 2017. The official website and the official Twitters, they haven't tweeted in 18 months. You know, this says to me it's got to be there. And I don't feel like it's a Disney Plus content. I don't think it fits the family friend. It might be Marvel, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, they could if it's tweaked enough, but they've not even done the reshoots. They're saying, you know, like getting the actors in. The actors are very much like they don't want to put any more time into this project because it just sounds like this whole project hasn't worked. They've already moved things around. Everyone knows that everything to do with the Fox universe is dead. You know, this just seems like a dead duck. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it just doesn't get released at all.
I think they will release it because they want to make some of their money back. And when you get down to it, since we know the X-Men universe isn't going to persist past the merger, past these two movies, there isn't that much harm that it can do to the brand because people just go, whatever, they're going to show up in Avengers 6 or something like that, and it'll be all new characters, all new actors. So there's not too much harm they can do it, and they're going to want at least something to show for their effort. These movies aren't cheap, even on the scales they're talking about. And it's the same philosophy that we get with comics every once in a while. They're like, we know this comic is terrible. We know it's not going to make a lot of money, but we would rather make that tiny sliver of money that this comic will make than the nothing that will make by just shoving it in a drawer somewhere and forgetting about it. So I do think it'll get a theatrical release. It'll probably come out when they say it's going to come out. It will very quickly fade into obscurity. Maybe after a year or two, it will show up on Hulu Plus, and it will just be that kind of like odd, quirky little title that you vaguely remember once you've like browsed 8 pages deep into Hulu trying to find something new, and you're like, oh, right, they made that thing. That is kind of what I figured.
There's also the thing of like leading up to it, they're setting up this expectation of people of just saying, oh, it might be done. It's like that is going to create a problem for this movie going forward of delay, rewrites, not reshot. It might become a Disney. It's not selling the concept that this is a premium product that you should go see at the cinema. Which obviously, if you're Steven Spielberg, you don't think anyone should see anything streaming anyway. But
we're not gonna keeping in mind, of course, again, not the Spielberg thing, but the keeping in mind that the vast majority of the movie-going public does not pay attention or know about any of the backroom politics. So they'll market it as an X-Men movie. They'll be like the New Mutants. They'll see Maisie Williams in there from Game of Thrones and be like, oh, this might actually be entertaining. And so you and I and people watching this podcast will be like, oh, this is a train wreck. This has been a train wreck since day one. But the vast majority of people out there are going to be like, oh, it's an X-Men movie. It's got people in it I know. I'll go see it. It's a horror movie. We like horror movies. So
that's why, to me, it doesn't feel like a Disney Plus movie, because it's a horror movie. It just doesn't really... And we watched it. I mean, I remember when we did the podcast, the Disney Kingdom podcast, on the trailer, we didn't like it. And that was 18 months ago. So, don't know. But yeah, for me personally, I don't know, but we'd love to know your thoughts on that. So when as far as like the X-Men trailer goes, I don't think I'm really torn on X-Men, if the X-Men universe is going to come to Disney Plus, or if it's just going to live on Hulu, it kind of makes sense to put it on Disney Plus, because other than Logan and Deadpool, the rest of them are all like PG-13 zone, aren't they?
They are. Several of them are actually PG. I think the older ones are up to X-Men 3. Maybe that might have been the first PG-13 one. But yeah, with the exception, as you mentioned, of Deadpool, Deadpool 2, and Logan, I could see them all coming to Disney Plus. I don't think they would be super hyped on Disney Plus. They'll get like an announcement, X-Men coming to Disney Plus, and it'll have X-Men 1 and 2 and 3 and the trilogy, and you can watch them in chronological order, and it's the whole story from beginning to end once Dark Phoenix is added to the batch, and that'll be it. It'll be something that can live on forever on Disney Plus and never really brought up again. The series has had highs, it's had lows, it's had some very deep lows, but it's also worth remembering the first X-Men movie, 2000, was basically the start of the modern superhero movie. Yeah,
there's value in them as a back catalog. I was just spoken out about back catalog. It makes sense. I think with Dark Phoenix, I think it comes under, Fox had a different rule with their movies, that they have to go through different companies, not necessarily through Netflix, but I think they've got to go through like HBO or something first. So I don't think it'll be treated like Captain Marvel, where it comes straight to it. So it might be a while before that works its way through. It could be a couple of years, because it's going to have to work its way. They've still got deals in place for a couple more years on the Fox side. So it's not like Captain Marvel, where we know that that's coming to Disney Plus later this year. So there's a lot more ambiguity with regards to the Dark Phoenix movie. I'm looking forward to it. It might be that thing of watch it. I might go sit to them, because I liked all the other ones. You know, they've all been kind of quite cool. A bit of like popcorn flick, sit back and relax. But it might take a little bit longer, because there will be some old characters. There might even not be. You know, it might be along the lines of, you know, it's still going to be released as a 21st Century Fox movie. Therefore, it comes under that old contract, and I think they are contractually obliged to release certain movies with this contract that they've got already. So it's going to be a little bit hazy. This is the big problem for a few years of just sorting it all out. And it's going to take a while to jump in all of that.
Yeah. So I was not impressed with the Phoenix trailer at all. The most recent one, I thought it actually looked pretty bad. But like you said, I think it'll be a popcorn movie. I think it'll be visually very interesting, especially if they're exploring the Dark Phoenix saga, and it'll be worth seeing once. It's, I don't know, like Aquaman in that regard, a completely brainless movie that's still a lot of fun to see. And that's all I'm expecting out of it. And as long as I get that out of it, I'm fine. But yeah, the trailer did not sell me on it. I will say that.
Yeah, it just carry on, and I just didn't like the fact of how Mystique looked. She just looked like she came out of a TV series that just looked really cheap.
Oh yeah, I don't want to talk too much on the performance of Sophie Turner, because we've only seen little bits and pieces of it. But I'm not optimistic based on the trailer. And of course, there's the whole thing of them very heavily implying that Mystique is going to die very early in the movie, so that they're knocking off one of the biggest name actresses in the movie. Which
but I think
could be a feint though.
Yeah, well, I think that was just the fact she probably didn't want to dress up in blue for very long, and it's too expensive to bring in for it.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, she's been very vocal about the fact that she has not been happy with the Mystique process, which, to be fair, she was also having a reaction to the original process with the whole body paint thing, and I can understand that. There's a certain amount of pain that you don't necessarily need your actors and actresses to take. But
to be honest, she's in a different place now than when she was when she signed the contract. So it's very different.
She was a no-name when she signed the contract, and since then she's done the Hunger Games, and she's become an A-list actor. So I can totally understand her wanting to be like, you know, I appreciate the chance you guys gave me, got me boosted up a bit there, but you know, time to do other things.
Keeping on the Marvel front, Gifted ended on Hulu this week, the season 2. There's, you know, the thing of season 3. I'll be honest, I'm not expecting that to return. The ratings weren't high. I think Marvel will just want to clear that out the way, leave it as a casualty of. It's a shame. They probably could do a bit with it, but they ain't gonna want to be doing a TV series. It actually would have been very good Disney Plus content, but I can't see that one returning. Cloak and Dagger, there's some more stuff coming for that soon. That's a Freeform one. We still don't know what's happening with Freeform yet. I'd like to see that on Disney Plus. I think Cloak and Dagger is a cool little series, but again, we don't have confirmation. I'm really hoping in the next month we really start seeing some proper concrete content of where like Freeform and ABC and what's going on with all. I think once the merge is complete and they've announced Disney Plus properly, we'll get a bit more information on that. So shifting away from all of the Marvel side, National Geographic, they announced a new documentary that they're working on based on the Thai cave rescue. It's going to be coming out in 2020, and it's got announced late last night. Oscar-winning team behind it. The reason I'm bringing this up is obviously National Geographic is going to be a massive thing, is a massive brand for Disney Plus. You know, it's up there with next to Marvel and Star Wars. Very safe to assume, I think, that everything that National Geographic puts out television-wise is going to be coming to Disney Plus. It's going to be a major aspect to it. All the back catalogue. They are also very good, I think, with National Geographic as well. They don't seem to have got themselves tied up in this problem of contracts, because everything they make goes on their own channel. They've put a bit out on Netflix, but it seems almost very simple. They've got their app that they can put on there, which I'm expecting will go eventually. But it seems like they've not got in. Every time they put out an announcement, they go, this will also be available on all of the other channels around the world. They seem to have kind of kept the contracts very simple, and that's probably why Disney are looking at going, yeah, we can use this straight away.
Yeah, and I mean it's National Geographic. So they're not going to be cannibalizing monetary opportunities with National Geographic. So yeah, put it right on there. It's instant content. It's content people want to watch. It's got a reputation as quality content. Yeah, I mean, and if there are no contract disputes, then yeah, fill it up. I'll pay for a streaming service that's just Nat Geo in general. Just their content is so good.
And that's the thing, is they're bringing adult content, family-friendly content as well, children's content. I mean, I watched Free Solo. That won the Oscar for Best Documentary. That was on over the weekend on National Geographic.
That guy is crazy.
Did you watch it?
No, but I know who they're talking about. I've seen a different documentary on the guy.
I watched it.
He's nuts.
It was crazy. He's just climbing up El Capitan single-handedly. I mean, it was about it was a full 90-minute documentary. You know, and it was just like you're watching it. And I've been to Yosemite National Park. I've seen El Capitan. I think that's the thing as well. That it helps like visually for me. If I know what that size of that thing is, and you see the pictures, and I was showing some of the staff members yesterday, showing off like the footage and showing my wife of him climbing and stuff, and they're like, "Whoa," because El Capitan's less known here. And yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was such a great documentary, and it's like I'm really looking forward to this because I think National Geographic is going to bring a very different type of content. You know, it has got, you know, they've got constant updates coming through, and I think National Geographic is going to be a great brand of bringing some real talented content. Things like Free Solo, you know, they put it out there, you know, a movie that won an Oscar that was released at cinemas. It got put out on National Geographic, I think ad-free. It's perfect Disney Plus content, and I'm really excited to see where they go with this, because I think even National Geographic have said they are really looking forward to seeing where Disney take them, because they're going to have a company behind them that has got some money, that's willing, that see value in National Geographic. Like I said, the fact that it's up there with Marvel and Star Wars shows the value they think of this brand. You know, this wasn't just put to the side.
Yeah, I mean, the brand itself has always been well respected. Back when it was only publishing the magazine, I mean, as a kid, I used to use that magazine all the time for school projects. You know, the pictures in it and the articles and whatnot. And then, of course, all the documentaries they published. They just never had the exposure for the documentaries the way you can get with Disney or Universal or one of these companies. And you had to go to National Geographic. So you had to go to their television channel. You had to go go to the magazine and read the magazine, or you had to rent the DVDs or go to the theater. Putting it on Disney Plus instantly makes it accessible with a few button presses. And that will be invaluable, especially to grade school to high school age kids who need these documentaries for their school projects. And there's a huge market for that that's basically untapped.
And also, you're going to have that back catalog, and just drip feeding that onto there is going to continue to build. You've got they've got constant updates of new shows starting. They've announced lots back at the winter schedule. It's odd over here because on the Now TV streaming service, they have National Geographic Wild, Nat Geo Wild, but shows are only on there for a week before they disappear. They don't have the National Geographic on there. It's only on Sky. They've got their apps and stuff, but I'm expecting that to all start shifting around once they've been properly purchased out and they've got a plan going forward. But like you say, there's going to be a massive, massive wave of back catalog that is going to bulk out Disney Plus. They are really, and this having, if you got a new documentary or a new couple of things a week dropping in, then there's going to be a constant drop of new content, which is what people like to see. When you're looking at what's coming up and stuff, that's all going to be there, because I expect it's going to be probably day and day with the National Geographic channel, because they're going to want to push this. But like you say, you're going to have kids wanting to watch documentaries on lions and things like that, and doing projects, and it's educational, which is going to help sell it to parents even more so. That's going to be, there's this whole educational element to Disney Plus that is really going to be valuable.
Yeah, and the great thing about these Nat Geo documentaries is a lot of them don't age. A lot of them are on things where the knowledge about them hasn't changed, or they're things like Free Solo, which are about specific events. Yes, there are some documentaries that have not aged well because we've learned new things about this particular aspect of nature, or theories that existed back then no longer exist or have evolved into new theories. There's always going to be a handful of those. But like you watch a shark documentary, the basics are going to be pretty much the same whether you have a documentary from now or a Nat Geo special from 30 years ago. We know more about sharks now, but the basics haven't changed. They have cartilage instead of bone. They have some that are more aggressive than others. You don't want to be in the water with a great white, stuff like that. And the footage is still as impressive as ever. They've got some just crazy shots of great whites and makos and bull sharks and such from 20-year-old documentaries. Sure, it's not in high definition, but some of that stuff you're just lucky to catch it on camera at all. And that has been National Geographic signature, is you will see things on camera that no one else can show you.
Yeah, and also the thing, like the very big back catalog, they can put up the 30-year-old episodes in the movies. You put them on bulk, you don't make a big fuss over it, you just put it out there. It's the new episodes that are all in 4K and HD and all the rest of it that you're going to be making more of a fuss about. But it's definitely going to bulk it out, and I would expect them to drip feed it. I wouldn't expect them to put everything on at once, but they're going to be diving into that back catalog and utilizing it. And like you say, it's I think the educational value for kids is going to really help sell this product, because it's not all just chickens in space and the new other things that are out.
Yeah, and I'm doing my best to not hammer on our normal points of you're getting this as part of the package.
Yeah,
you can get Disney Plus for The Mandalorian, and hey, look, Nat Geo's waiting right there for you. That's another reason to just hold on to that subscription, because those are good, wholesome content available at the click of a button.
But also, like say, it's like from us as adults, we enjoyed that Free Solo. I enjoyed that Free Solo documentary. That is going to help keep me as an adult involved in it. And then the people go, "No, I don't want to watch all this Disney Channel stuff." Well, there's different people for it's having that content for different sides of things, and yeah, it's just going to be great to see what they do with it. But definitely worth seeing. There's going to be lots of stuff on there that I think is going to be great. So we will be integrating quite a bit of National Geographic stuff, probably some of the big events and stuff, as once we know what's going on a little bit more. But that pretty much wraps it up. There was a few other little bits, like some executives and stuff, but we're not really going to bother going into too much more on that.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments below what you guys thought of Free Solo, if you watched it, or any other topics from this past week. Go check us out over on the website, bookmark it, favorite it, make sure you can keep coming back. Like us on Facebook or Twitter to keep up with our latest news. Definitely subscribe on YouTube or the podcast services like Apple, Spotify, Android, etc. to keep up with our latest podcasts. And James, where can they find you?
I'm a heroiclegacy.com.
And on that, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon. Laters.
Later.